Good evening. It is now 7 p.m. I will call Tuesday, February 6th, 2024 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. All three selectmen are present, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
The
flag
flag of the United States of America
and to the
and to the
republic
republic,
stands one
one
nation,
nation,
God, indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from January 16th, 2024.
Second.
I have the motion. Ken has the second. Any discussion on these minutes?
Amy, the only thing I saw was the spelling of Eileen Witkowski was spelled wrong. Eileen was spelled with an E, not an A.
Okay.
And that was under
Selectmen's comments.
comments, yeah.
Any other adjustments or changes to these minutes? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes as presented with the adjustment of the corrected spelling of Eileen Witkowski's name, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence from Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection. Accidents 13 for the month of December, I should say. There were 191 calls for service, 13 were accidents, 33 were investigations, 1 burglary, 2 larcenies, 142 non-reportable matters, 5 DUIs, 7 traffic citations, and 6 written warnings. Any other correspondence to bring before the board tonight?
I have nothing.
I don't either. No? Okay. All right, so I'll open up the floor to selectmen comments. Selectmen comments.
I don't know that I have any comments to make tonight.
I don't have anything at this time.
And I really don't have too much, except for tomorrow night is the kickoff to the joint Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance budget presentation workshops. Beginning at 6 p.m. It is virtual, but it is also live here in the Cine room. I will say that I think it's going to be easier for people to view everything via Zoom. But if you'd rather be in person, we will be here at the Cine room as well, again, starting at 6 p.m. So we have February 7th, that's tomorrow, February 13th, which is a week from tonight, February 19th, and February 22nd, all starting at 6 p.m. They're all joint meetings. I did have a discussion with Rob Werge the other day, and because they're joint meetings, and I want to see what the board thinks, just that doesn't need to go to a vote, but he and I agreed that it would probably be good if he ran one meeting and I ran another. So the plan was I would run tomorrow night's meeting, he would run the following week's meetings, I would do the next one, and he would do the final one. Because since it is a joint meeting. So that
I would agree with that.
Heads up. What's that?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to point out, Ken, you had asked me about the financing update. Bill Steglitz is actively working with Barry Bernabe from Phoenix Advisors. He's running 2 financing scenarios, trying to make the best option that will reduce interest costs. So I'll keep you both posted on that and that's going to be for the school track project, the school security project, and potentially HVAC, but we won't know about that grant until, I believe, the beginning of March. So he's working the numbers for all 3, but there is the chance that we don't get the HVAC grant again. So then it'll just be 2 projects. But he is actively working on that and trying to figure out the best scenario. And that is all I have to share with everybody tonight. All right, if there are no other selectmen comments, we will move to citizen comments. So I will open up the floor to the virtual audience on citizen comments. Just unmute, state your name and address. Ms. Valerie Clark.
Yep, Valerie Clark, 105 Home Road. I'm just hoping that somebody can shed light on what happened with the meeting minutes from last time and why the link to the recording doesn't work.
Did the minutes get posted, Valerie?
Yesterday,
Okay, I think it's just, we're just trying to correct the link issue. It was a mistake that it didn't get posted, in time. Human error.
got it. And then I just, I know on the agenda somewhere is the question about the Congregational Church.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if there's some way to share a link to the opportunity that corporations have to make donations and get tax credits. So
Um,
if that's possible to include somewhere in the minutes or in a separate document somewhere, I'm interested, I just don't know where to find it.
yeah, I can include the link to the state through the DRS, Connecticut DRS. I can include the link for the state of Connecticut for the tax program.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Dottie, I'll get you that link, for these minutes. Citizen comments. The floor is still open to citizen comments to anybody in the virtual audience. Just unmute, state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none, I will move to the room. Any citizens in the room like to speak? Okay. I've had some head shakes, no. So I think we're ready to move on to agenda item 7, Thompson Congregational Church Tax Credit Programs. So this is the Neighborhood Assistance Act program through the state of Connecticut. There were some questions. We had brought this up and began the discussion at our last Board of Selectmen meeting. And there were some questions. I did follow up with the state of Connecticut DRS, received a message from Samantha Davis. She is with the Education and Outreach Unit through Department of Revenue Services. She says, hello, Amy. I am following up with you regarding the phone conversation we had earlier today. The Neighborhood Assistance Act tax credits are not a direct expense to municipalities. They are a state level incentive provided to incentivize business firms that pledge to support community projects. Each tax exempt organization that receives a donation is responsible for adhering to the designated purpose outlined on their program proposal application form NAA01. Failure to appropriately utilize the funds in accordance with the specified objectives will lead to consequences for the tax exempt organization, not the municipality. Please let me know if you have further questions. That was one of the biggest questions that we had. We also received correspondence. I guess this should have been in correspondence, but Bill, you're on the, I think you're on Zoom right now. He's the consultant that's working with the church, and he had lent himself available to answer any questions as well that the selectmen might have.
Yes, I'm here if anybody has any questions.
Okay, thanks, Bill.
We're on that subject.
Yep.
Bill, just a quick something that just came across. There are requirements for whoever makes the donations in order to qualify, and whatever consequences if they don't adhere appropriately. But the donations of the money that comes from these corporations, is there any guidelines at which how the receiving organization is allowed to spend them?
Yeah, it's a two-tier program. And to try to make it very simple, a nonprofit or a municipality who is receiving these funds can make the donor eligible for a 60% tax credit for doing any number of things, programs, etc. What we're talking about here is the other part of the program where a corporation gets 100% tax credit if the receiving organization does energy related work. So in this case, the church is proposing to do energy related work on this round, probably a lot of window work. But it could be HVAC, etc. So the receiving organization to allow the donating entity 100% tax credit, they've got to be doing energy related work. I don't know if does that answer?
Yeah, based on this round, you answered the question.
Any other questions? What is everybody's thoughts?
I'm fine with moving forward, especially since you have documentation that the town is not at risk.
And the only thing is just a little administrative work on our end. Doesn't seem too cumbersome.
Right.
And then we'd have to hold a public hearing. And I've yet to get an answer directly about whether the governing body is going to fall on us. Or is it going to fall on the town meeting? Because the town meeting would technically be the governing body. So I think those are the only questions that are outstanding. But as far as supporting and assisting the church with this program, I'm in agreement. I'm more than happy to work with them as best as we can.
And let me say one more thing, if I may. The town has to hold, for this to work, the town has to hold a public hearing and get copies of the legal notice and the minutes from the public hearing and the application to the state of Connecticut by July 1. So
Okay.
there's plenty of time. And the public hearing could be just on this one issue. It could be with several other issues that you're holding other public hearings for. So there's plenty of time.
Bill, this is a question on, obviously it costs money every time when we have to advertise legal notices. Being that this is benefiting the church solely, would the church be agreeable to covering the expense of the legal notice?
Yeah, and I can't answer that. I'm happy to ask Bruce, see what he says.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, every little bit counts in a municipal budget, especially Thompson's.
For sure.
Amy, if I could speak.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, we had to do something like this for the grant funding for Gladys Green and Pine View Court.
Okay.
And the public hearing, and Ken, maybe you remember, was as simple as it started before the selectmen's meeting. And it was basically just to approve or to agree with, and it was only the selectmen.
Oh, right, I agree. But then ultimately, who makes the public hearing is for information only and for people to ask any questions. And then ultimately there was a decision. Let me just see in the paperwork here.
I mean, if it goes along the guidelines of P and Z, they advertise for their public hearing. They move forward with it. They close the public hearing based on the questions, testimony, etc. Then it's brought back to the body for decision.
Okay, so prior to submitting, the municipality must hold a public hearing on all program applications, so it will just be this one. The governing body of the municipality must vote to approve the programs. It's
So
just a
that would be
question.
us.
You think it's us?
Yeah. The governing body of the municipality, not of the public hearing.
Right, not the public
Yeah.
hearing.
But you still have your advertising and stuff for
Right.
that public hearing.
I still want to just make sure that it doesn't have to be a town meeting. I'm not so. I'm hoping it's as simple as us, since it doesn't cost taxpayers any dollars.
Right.
I think we had, that was part of the discussion we had at our last meeting,
Mhm.
and that would be for the town attorney to answer.
Right. So I think at this point, we don't need to vote yet. We should wait for the public hearing then.
Right. I
Plan
would,
would be to schedule it before,
Yeah.
before one of our Board of Selectmen,
select meetings,
starting at 7 o'clock or starting at 6:30.
6:30.
I would think 6:30. All right. All right, so we'll plan that within the month of March, potentially. Once we get through all of our budget workshops. Does that sound good?
I may take a couple of meetings off in March.
For the selectmen or for
Yes.
the Board of Finance?
Selectmen
Oh, okay.
and Board of Finance.
Oh, okay. Well, we have until July 1. Well, maybe we can do it in the February meeting then.
That would be better if we could get it done in the February meeting, but it depends on how long it has to be posted and that kind of thing.
Right. I'll get all those details.
But I'll get back to you.
Okay,
So we'll move it to a public hearing.
yep. We don't need a vote on it. Okay. All right. This looks promising, Bill.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for coming.
Yep.
Agenda item 8, Teague Building Repairs. I received a call from Ann Miller, who's on the Zoom right now, as is Ellison Rich, and I think Steve Lewis is also representing Teague. We have two issues, the first being, and correct me if I'm wrong, the way I understand it, and some mice got into the electrical panel and did quite severe damage. So the entire electrical panel needs to be replaced. So there is a quote for that. And then we've had this issue in the past, if I remember, but one of the HVAC units, what are they called? Energy recovery units, air circulator, is that what it is?
Yeah,
The way I understood it, and the one in the pantry, no, I'm sorry, the one in the offices has died. The first option, but they don't make that anymore and they don't sell parts for it. So the first option would be to replace that whole unit. The second
Correct.
option that was presented was to move the one from the pantry and leave the pantry without an air circulator. And that would save some cost.
so that's
Anything
very, that's a really good reading of that. The only difference is that the second option was to remove it. He has it from the existing pantry. It's actually that one, I believe, was the one in the men's bathroom, which is nearer to the center of the building. There are actually two in that area. One is in the kitchen and one is in the kitchen closet, and the other is in the men's bathroom.
Okay,
He felt that I had asked him if we could just move a unit. And at that time he said, oh, okay, that's an idea. Then what we found were two things: that the parts for these are no longer available. The company has gone out of business, and that unit in the bathroom area, as well as in the kitchen closet, is also failing.
okay,
There are pieces, we have Eric Day, who is a volunteer who does our building maintenance now, and he's an engineer, and he went in and looked, and there are pieces that are broken in there. So sadly, I suspect we may have at least one more of these that we need to replace. These bring the fresh air into the building that's then heated and then comes into our offices. The fiscal offices are very cold. They're almost unheated now and blowing cold air into those offices. So we had hoped that we could use one to replace the other, and that only would have been $1,200. But in looking at it, it looks like we're going to have to replace at least the one in the back offices, and that's going to be $4,200. And there could be a second one. We need to have him look at that and see if I'm willing to go without one, because I agree with him. We have enough air circulation there. But we've also had problems in the past where there wasn't a lot of air circulation and people started to suffer headaches in the back. So I know we need one in the back. That's very obvious. Allison, do you have anything else you remember related to that?
No, I think Anne covered it very well. Being somebody who sits in those back offices, I can attest that it is very cold back there right now. And our engineer who's come in, he's fantastic, but like Anne said, he has found a number of broken parts in other units. So we are kind of running on as low maintenance as possible for those units in the time being until Sean can get in there to fix them.
so ultimately, it sounds like we're looking for $4,235
Hi, this is Stephanie.
And then, of course, we have to do the electrical panel. That's a non-discussion.
Mhm.
Technically,
only
both of them
half-
are non-discussion.
Right, there was, he said, I very strongly suggest, he said, I really can't guarantee the safety of the building without it. So he's prepared to do that on President's Day if we can. I think I'm just gonna have him do it one way or the other because it has to be done.
Right.
And it's just, there are two boxes back there. One is the box that's directly connected to the generator. And there is a tube, a conduit tube that runs from the generator into the building. These mice were not able to get further than the panel because it's enclosed in metal. So we had just had inspections from NDDH, DSS, and the food share, and we passed with flying colors because those mice were sealed back in there. But he's already done something to, we've left the mice some tasty food that will not let them eat for long. And we've blocked both ends of the conduit with steel wool. So we know that that's safe, but the mice did quite a bit of damage inside the panel.
Right.
Do you have anybody, just out of, because we're talking about the mice and possible future, do you have anybody that checks and sprays the building and puts out traps, etc.?
Yeah, we do. I think that the difference with this was we have mouse traps out all the time. They come in quarterly, Allison?
Quarterly, we use Griggs and Brown, and they come as often as we call them in between those quarterly appointments if we notice additional needs.
But I think these mice probably didn't, we have poison around that area, but I don't think these mice really needed it. They probably found enough scraps outside the pantry. We've moved the garbage away from the building, and then they just got in that little conduit and they had a free highway back and forth from the generator into the building.
Yeah.
Did not touch the other panel, couldn't have gotten into the other panel because of where the conduit came in.
And I think the plan is for repairs to be also made to the panel to prevent mice from getting in again.
That has already happened, actually.
Okay, okay. So it's $6,525 roughly.
Roughly. And cross your fingers that other unit can maybe make it limp along for a while, but
Didn't
So-
we replaced the unit 2-3 years ago, if I remember?
we replaced parts of that unit, I believe. It was not the unit itself, but it was parts within that. And then since then,
I mean, we have multiple units over there.
but the one that we're talking about that needs replacing right away is the one that, yes, we had a repair on. I would say maybe right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but do we approve this and send it off to the Board of Finance?
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking, that we agree
Okay.
to it, but that if we agree, maybe we don't, I don't know. But it has to go through the Board of Finance to finance it, I think, right?
It's always gone through the Board of Finance as a request.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We are also responsible for the first $500 of any repair.
Okay.
So you take 1,000 off that total
Oh, for both repairs?
for 500 for each repair.
Okay.
okay.
I can look at the lease again, but I'm quite sure that's how it reads.
It is.
Mhm.
No, you're right, Ann, on that.
So
I think it used to be 250 and now it's 5.
So we need a motion to send this on to the Board of Finance.
Yep, that would be roughly $5,525.
So I'll make that motion.
Okay, Suzanne's making a motion to approve and pass on to the Board of Finance a request for $5,525 for the T building repairs.
Second the motion.
Ken has the second. Any further discussion on this issue? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I do have a clarifying question. I
Mhm.
think we have to have that electrical done no matter what. So I'm going to go ahead and have the work done, even though it needs to go through the Board of Finance. Is that
Board of-
going to,
Board of Finance meets, I don't think they're canceling their regular 15th meeting. So then they take it up at Thursday, the 15th.
okay,
If they decide to cancel it because we have the other budget meetings, I will ask to have it put on the 13th. Which is a
okay,
budget workshop, but we'll have it as an item for Board of Finance to take up as business. But I suspect they're still having their February 15th meeting.
thank
So,
you.
Either way, I'll make sure it's on there.
I'm gonna go ahead and schedule him just because I think either way, we've got to get this done. I don't.
Actually, I should just ask Dottie. Dottie, do you know? Are they still planning on having their 15th meeting?
Yes, the discussion has already been taken place, and the Board of Finance is going to wait until later in the month to determine if there's a reason to go ahead and have it. So based on this conversation, that might be an adequate trigger to go ahead on the 15th, but your suggestion, Amy, of putting on the 13th if they decide to cancel the 15th would also work.
Yeah, I think the 13th would be kind of complicated since it's a joint meeting and it'll be strange. As I was suggesting it, I thought it was kind of strange to have them doing a vote and taking care of business in a joint presentation meeting. So yeah, if they could do on the 15th, even if it's just a quick meeting, I think that would be fantastic.
Or another concept to go back to the 13th is to have their own separate special meeting, which would be a 15-minute meeting.
True.
A single
true.
item on the agenda, and
Like-
then they would be separated from the Board of Selectmen that way, and could do it previous to 6 or after the budget workshop is over.
That's a good idea too, Dottie. I like that. Thanks.
Okay, whichever.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
You.
Local emergency medical services plan, I think Marie might have sent it to you. It just came in this morning. However, I sent it on to OEMS and they had a whole list of things that were missing. The fire departments have been working on that. And so we can't really discuss it because it hasn't been approved by OEMS yet. So,
I don't know if I received it. I can
No, I-
double check.
didn't either.
I don't recall seeing
We
it.
had I talked to Marie about sending it. I just got it at 10 o'clock this morning.
Okay, all right.
And I knew we probably weren't gonna discuss it anyways but I thought we'd get it earlier last week and I'd get it to you for the weekend. But no matter, OEMS came back with some changes they wanted and additions they wanted, so we'll discuss it at the next meeting.
Okay,
Elevator repair. So Otis Elevator would not give us a quote because we don't have a service contract with them, and I think I understood why, and I'll explain that in a minute. I got in touch with Schindler. It is a Schindler elevator, and Schindler was the company that actually installed the elevator. We had two quotes. One from TK Elevator who is the current, who we contract currently for elevator repair. We're in a joint contract with the school. They came in at almost $67,000. It was shocking. That wasn't what I anticipated. Schindler came in at $37,000, so $30,000 less. I handed it off to the assistant building official, John Noley, and he has some experience with elevator work. Obviously, he's our assistant building official. He made calls, he looked over both work orders. He had questions for both of the companies about what they were doing. He has some experience in hydraulics, so it was great. Ultimately, he came back to me the other day and he said Schindler is definitely the way to go. They answered the questions better than even TK did, and they were $30,000 less. However, Marie and I were talking about the service agreement that we have with the school through TK Elevator. And in their agreement, unbeknownst to Bill Birch and I, it says you agree not to permit others to make alterations, additions, adjustments, or repairs to replace any component or part of the equipment during the term of this agreement. So Bill, when I talked to Bill Birch about it, he was thrown off. He says, and you know, even if we read it when we signed this contract back in 2020, we might not have thought nothing about using one company to make all the repairs. Except for when they hold us over a barrel and they come in $30,000 higher than another company. So when I talked to Bill Birch about it, and this is what I want to bounce off the board. Bill said, Amy, if I were you, this is what I would do, because TK services school districts all over Connecticut. The last thing they want is their name out there that they treated us poorly. His suggestion is that I go back to TK Elevator and I tell them what the quote was from Schindler, tell them we hadn't realized that this was in our agreement, and that we're going to wait to repair the elevator until our contract is up, which is in July 1st of 2025. We'll just wait unless you either lower your price or allow us to use Schindler. But the bigger question is, how would the board feel about not repairing the elevator for the next year and a half? It's $30,000. But if they don't comply, we would have to abide by the contract.
Amy, what's the fine to
You
cancel the
can't- it says
contract?
it's non-cancelable. I can have the attorney look out over it, but I didn't want to pay for the attorney to read through it and give me any advice. The contract says it's non-cancelable. There's no fine there's no fine listed. It just says it's non-cancelable.
So it doesn't say there's a penalty if we use another company.
True. Do we want to just take the chance and use the other company?
I would make the statement to is it TK?
TK Elevator.
Yeah,
Thyssen Krupp.
that, you know, we have found another company that will do it for $30,000 less. If you can't match it, then, I 30,000 is 30,000. That's,
Yeah,
I don't know. I would go ahead and have the repairs done with a different elevator company, because it doesn't talk about a penalty.
true.
How much is the contract to do elevator repair?
The elevator repair,
I
they
mean, the
just, the
contract for
servicing.
maintenance.
It's not maintenance it's just inspections and just the annual inspection. I don't quite remember exactly what it was. I could look that up with Paula,
I mean, that.
because it doesn't cover this type of repair.
Yeah,
Oh, I know,
so,
but
What are you getting at?
if the cost is not. If the cost isn't that great to do the inspection, all the state cares about is that it's certified
Mhm,
and that it passes and the proper paperwork is filed
mhm.
with them. So there's nothing saying you can't have two contracts out there. If you're looking at that the contract is minuscule and you're saving $35,000, 30,000 plus, it's a no-brainer.
Right. Well, I get what you're saying there, but I've signed a
Yeah.
contract that says that I'm agreeing to not allow anybody else to do any repair work.
But what's the penalty?
Well, you're right. That's what I have to look through. It
Okay,
just-
so this is you know, when you're talking $30,000.
Right,
To have the town attorney look at this for an hour and come up with an opinion.
oh, I wasn't gonna do that, but,
I'm just saying, if that's what it comes down to, it's money well spent.
right,
Especially if you can just go to Schindler, save $30,000 and
okay.
we have another contract with a different one and just never
Amy,
call them.
what
Or
is the
There's nothing
contract?
saying that you have to allow them into the building to do their inspections. Long as you've got somebody doing them accordingly, that
Right.
meets the state requirements.
Right, the only thing is, you recognize that your obligation to Thyssen Krupp Elevator, TK Elevator, under this clause includes payment of all attorney's fees, court costs, judgments, settlements, interest, and any other expenses of litigation arising out of such claims or lawsuits. So.
And again, it comes back to the interpretation of the contract, what the penalties can be, and is it worth the publicity
To them, correct,
to all parties involved?
so. Well, all I knew is that I signed my name to it. And this was what Bill and I both agreed to. So I really was just looking for the board's thoughts.
I think I would go back and talk to TK, explain the situation and see what their thoughts are. And if they say, oh no, we're gonna hold you to the contract, then say, we're gonna sit on it for a year and a half
Mhm.
and wait until your contract's up. Because they're not coming in and doing maintenance on the elevator, is that correct? They're
They
only
do
coming
the-
in and doing inspections, that's all we're paying them to do.
There's an annual maintenance slash, inspection.
So it's just a maintenance, like, you would
Yeah,
do
they
on a
take care of all the
generator or,
paperwork and
yeah,
They do the
Yeah.
inspection to
yeah,
make sure it's working.
yeah.
It's not a large amount, like Ken was saying. It's not huge. So,
And even
But
with
I
this, the
think
school
it
should be
would,
rethinking what they got into.
oh yeah, absolutely.
I think it kind of frustrates me that we feel our hands are tied,
Mhm.
you know, in this situation, but it's $30,000. It's worth absolutely putting up a little bit of a fight to to be able to go with the company that actually made and installed the elevator.
I would feel more comfortable going
Me
with
too.
Shannon because it's their unit, no matter what. So, all right,
Good conversation.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you both for your input. I appreciate it. And hopefully we can get something resolved and yeah. All right, any other thoughts on the elevator?
Nope.
Okay. Agenda item 11, new hire, David Delpy. As we recall, Lynn Landry is retiring as of tomorrow.
Oh.
She did not want any type of celebration or going away party. She expressly asked not to have one, but if either of you want to stop by and see her tomorrow, I'm sure she'd love. I told everybody, just stop in and see her during the day. But David has come on, he's learning the job. He's a local resident, family has, I think, lived here their entire life. And Lynn told me today that he's really been fantastic. And she feels very comfortable, handing the torch over to David. She wasn't, leaving. She was struggling because her job is so important to her. But like I said, today she did tell me she feels very comfortable passing the torch. But we do need the official Board of Selectmen approval of the hire.
I will make that motion that we hire David Delpy for the finance tax clerk.
I will second that motion. Any discussion?
I think this is a very good choice. I've known David for years and of course the family, and Dave Senior coached my son in baseball. So I'm excited for them. I think it's a great asset and an addition to the tax office.
And he had great letters of recommendation.
I read them. They were wonderful.
Mhm. Ken, what do you?
I don't have any issue. I read everything.
Yeah.
The issue that I have is how come he started prior to hiring?
Ken,
I'm serious.
I'm serious because
Okay.
the majority of time people start before we have a board meeting. So don't pull that with me.
This is the fourth time, Amy. We
It
hired,
happens all the time.
it doesn't happen all. This
Okay,
all was
so-
started back in December.
From now on, we didn't hire. It missed the minutes, it missed the agenda the last time. He didn't start until 2 weeks ago. And our meeting was over.
We have special meetings.
Then we'll have special meetings for you from now on.
In order
During
to
the
do
day.
it properly, that's the way we're supposed to do it.
It's really,
I don't know that it says anywhere that we
It's a
have to do it
formality.
that way. And we have in the past had people start and then we've done the approval afterwards.
but if you want to call special meetings, I will call special
I have
meetings.
no
for
problem
you.
calling a special meeting. We
Fine.
found somebody, we needed to do it before we bring them on, because whenever we've hired when I was sitting.
Well, you're
here,
not.
Okay,
You're
so there's a
not.
difference. I
There is
kept
a
my board
difference.
involved. And we did everything the
But this-
way it was
we
supposed to be
always-
done.
But Ken, we always sat down when it was a department head being hired. Those were the times that we were involved in the decision of hiring. This is a union employee. This is not a department head. The board gets brought in for the department head hires. I was never brought in for a regular hire. And then we take direction from whatever the committee decides, and their time is of the essence in this case. It was of the essence. Lynn was leaving tomorrow.
I don't,
So we
I
had 2
don't
weeks.
disagree with that. I don't disagree that Lynn was retiring. We knew that, that was coming.
It's fine, Ken, slap my hand again. I will make sure you have a special meeting.
Just do what
Do
should
it
be
the way
done.
you did it. I will do my
Proper.
best to do that.
Okay, that's all I'm
It's
asking.
not that it's proper, it's the way you want it. That's fine.
It's the way that it's always been done.
Says you.
Been on this is
Doesn't-
my 13th year on the board. This is the way we've always done it.
Okay,
So we can always change it.
it's fine. He's an excellent candidate.
I'm not knocking his credentials. There's no problem with him.
So can we vote?
Absolutely. All in favor of the new hire, David Dalpy, for financial tax clerk, say aye.
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 Agenda item 7, reappointment of Matthew J. Grauer, Thompson Hill Fire Police Commission. Term to end November 18th, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
Second.
Suzanne has the motion, Ken has the second. Any discussion on this appointment? All in favor of reappointing Matthew J. Grauer to serve on Thompson Hill Fire Police Commission, term to end November 18th, 2025, say aye.
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 All right, TPS, agenda item 13, TPS 8th grade moving up request for Phil DePaul fundraiser at the transfer station on March 9th, 2024. Make a motion that we approve on behalf of TMS 8th grade, a Phil DePaul oh wait. Did Marie double check this?
I was gonna ask that question.
Oh, they're outside though. The Girl Scouts are inside. Hey, Jen, you're in the meeting. You guys
Yes.
set up outside the transfer station, right?
Yes, we do. And I checked with Jess Bolte. She said Girl Scouts are starting the following weekend.
Okay, perfect. All right,
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
gonna remake my motion. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna remake my motion, or I'm gonna make my motion to approve the 8th grade moving up request for Phil DePaul fundraiser at the transfer station on March 9th, 2024. That's a Saturday.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
I would prefer if they were in the transfer
Oh, okay.
station than outside because of the gate and everything.
Are they usually inside? Jen, are you gonna be inside?
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I don't think I did check with the Girl Scouts, so we shouldn't have any issues
Yeah,
there.
th-
So
Okay.
inside is fine, not a
All
problem.
right,
I think it's safer inside
Mhm.
because going through that gate
Yep.
is very, can be very dangerous.
awesome.
Agreed. Okay. No
All right,
problem.
so all in favor of approving the request for March 9th, 2024 for the Phil DePaul fundraiser at the transfer station, say aye.
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 Aye. All right.
Look for life.
Yeah, Luke for life.
Did we do this in the past?
No, I don't think so. It's
I
a
don't
new-
think so.
We are still waiting for the certificate of insurance, I believe.
No, we do have another one coming up. I forget when.
So the.
They're doing the bicycling one.
Um,
I don't remember the date on it. We approved that one.
The
Yeah, they're not-
bicycle one, yeah.
Yeah,
last
it's done every year.
right, but it's not the same weekend.
Oh, I'm just making sure.
I don't think it is. Well, it was on the minutes.
This is just a request to use the roads,
Correct. But I
right?
think
For a
Ken's saying
motorcycle
that
run.
We had the other, it's a motorcycle run, right?
Yes,
Yes,
It's not a bicycle.
right.
But it would mean something if it was on the same day. It could create a conflict.
I mean, I quickly looked at the roads.
Oh, March 24th. Oh.
Yeah, I
sorry.
thought that was early spring was the bicycle one.
Yeah, March 24th.
Okay. So I will make the motion that we approve the use of the roads for Luke for Life motorcycle run on June 22nd with a rain date of June 23rd.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion in a second.
From what-
You said we're waiting on the insurance?
Yes, so.
Yes, so provided that they provide insurance documentation.
As amended.
Okay, so.
I think they're only using
Quite a
West
bit.
Thompson Road. The rest of them are state roads.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
All right, so motion and a second. Any further discussion on this request? All in favor of approving the request for Luke for Life motorcycle run pending the certificate of insurance, say aye.
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 Aye. All right, any other business to bring before the board?
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything either.
Okay, we'll open up the floor to citizen comments. Virtual or live. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to tax refunds. I'll make a motion that we refund Matthew R. Mooney, $30.03, Lynn M. Sword and Scott A. Walker, $288.99, Enterprise FM Trust, $101.43, $308.33. Daniel F. Johnson, $11.49. J&W Swiss Machine, $514.36. Commercial Cleaning, $128.96 for a total of $1,383.59.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on these refunds? All in favor of approving the tax refunds as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion that we adjourn this meeting at 7:47 PM.
Second.
Okay, motion in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye. Have a good night.